Please be seated. Dance is a symbol of communication which brings out the innermost feelings. It depicts the cultural aspects of civilization. We do have an Indian tradition down the ages. Welcoming is essence of oneness of mind and heart. Now we have our students to exhibit the traditional welcoming to the wonderful guests through a classical dance. Here they come.
வருகவே வணங்கியே வரவேற்போம் வருகவே செந்தமிழில் கவி பாடி உளமாற வரவேற்போம்
வருகவே வருகவே வணங்கி பாடுகின்றேன் வருகவே 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 வணங்கி பாடுகின்றேன் வருகவே அழகு தமிழ் கொண்டு உம்மை வரவேற்றோம் இனிய முகம் கொண்டு உம்மை வரவேற்றோம் அழகு தமிழ் கொண்டு உம்மை வரவேற்றோம் இனிய முகம் கொண்டு உம்மை வரவேற்றோம் வருகவே வருகவே வணங்கி பாடுகின்றேன் வருகவே 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 வணங்கி பாடுகின்றேன் வருகவே
Thank you, my dears, for your visual treating performance. I thank the students of grade 6, 7, 8 and 9. Thank you, my dears. Welcome to those who believes in power of dreams. and who would like to join in exploration of life. Now I call Ms. M. Anisha, BCI of Montessori, to deliver the welcome address. Please, ma'am.
Galaxy is in our campus to shower the shine and brighten the whole world with knowledge and the presence of all the dignitaries and the dais. Good morning to all gathered here. This is Manisha, Block Coordinator of Montessori. Today, on behalf of this institution, I feel extremely honored to have opportunity to welcome the galaxy of wisdom shining faces in front of us. Our institute believes in enhancing academic leadership skills and much more moral values. I would like to express my warm welcome to our chief guest, Dr. Kumar Krishen, who have made us proud with his presence on our special occasion. Our chief guest has reached pinnacle of success in his field. Thank you, sir, for being an inspiration to us. I welcome you once again with warm heart. I would like to thank our studious and persevering man, our institute, Mr. K. Rajendran, correspondent of Auto Public School. We welcome you, sir. It's an honor to welcome our warm and amiable woman, Ms. Bhumapriya Rajendran, chairperson, ma'am of Auto Public School. We welcome you, ma'am. It's an honor to welcome our cardinal and Sandavna, Mr. Ravichandran, academic director of Auto Public School and also the correspondent of Chola International School, Tanchu. Thanks for being here, sir. It's a happy moment to welcome our hardworking and wonder woman, Ms. Nikita Sujay Sridhar, co-founder of Janak Space, Bangalore. Happy to being here, ma'am. It's a pleasure to welcome our supporting and stiffener, Mr. Rajkumar Arasan, principal of Auto Public School. Welcome you, sir. Furthermore, I welcome one of our extended family member, principal of Chola International School. Nice to have you here, ma'am. Last but not least, I love to welcome the students of AADHAV, RSK and Chola schools and also the teaching and non-teaching faculty members to make this day much more useful and special. Once again, I warmly welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Kumar Krishen has the academic degrees from Kanha State University, PhD and MS in Calcutta University, MTech, BTech and gold and silver medals, and Jammu and Kashmir University, BA, highest university merit in electronics, electrical engineering, radio physics, physics and mathematics.
He taught and guided research at Kansas State University before joining Lockheed in 1969 as staff scientist.
Then he joined the NASA Johnson Space Center as a chief technologist in 1976 and has held key position in advanced program in Earth observation, science payloads, experiment systems, tracking and communication, mission support, new initiatives, and technology research and developments.
He represented JSC as the principal technologist on the NASA Council on Science and Technology. He served at Virginia Tech as University Fellow for Technology Transfer, Office of Special Initiatives, and visiting professor on a special NASA assignment. He has also served as adjunct professor at Rice University.
Throughout his career, he has advanced original concepts for remote sensing, health system, communication and tracking system, and automation and robotic system, spanning the Skylab, Space Shuttle, and International Space Station program eras.
His research and engineering contributions have resulted in numerous experiments supporting all of these programs and resulted in over 170 technical papers cataloging his accomplishments. He was pioneering in his use of electromagnetic wave scattering methods to map and sense surfaces of the moon from the earth.
Dr. Krishen is a fellow of Society for Design and Process Science, SDPS, fellow and distinguished speaker of Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, and an associate fellow of American Institute of Aeronautics and Aeronautics, AIAA. Dr. Kumar Krishen holds an appointment of adjunct professor at the University of Houston, honorary distinguished professor at the Amity University and honorary professor at the Delhi Technological University, India.
Senior space scientist and technologist who has worked with numerous space missions right from the Apollo mission, Skylab, Space Shuttle, and keeps coming back to India and gives lecture to the students community about living in space and about space science.
He is listed in 2000 Outstanding People of the 20th Century and was commissioned Honorary Texan by Texas Governor Rick Perry in 2001.
He is a recipient of many awards and honors from various universities, industries, and NASA, including the very prestigious acknowledgement, NASA Exceptional Service Medal.
NASA Exceptional Service Medal, recognizing exceptional and sustained service to NASA and United States in the realm of technological advancement in support of human spaceflight.
NASA Exceptional Service Medal, just to give an example of prestige of this award, I would like to mention the name of one other person who has also received this prestigious award. Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong has received this award, NASA Exceptional Service Medal, and our chief guest has also received the same. What a prestigious moment for us.
It's a rather an honor for not just NASA, but space exploration itself, such as the contribution of Dr. Krishen to NASA and space science.
But all these achievements did not come without hard work and struggle. He hails from a small village of Jammu and Kashmir. He had a choice in 1964 of staying back in India and take care of the family. His father advised him, go ahead and contribute to the world, bring glory to us all. And he did exactly the same.
The softened nature, genial Kashmiri, who migrated to the US in January 1965 on the grant extended by the then Prime Minister late Lal Bahadur Shastri.
He boarded a ship from Bombay to France en route to Kansas University. And by the time when he reached Kansas State, all he had was just $20 in his pocket. And out of which he paid $13 for his taxi man. It was too cold in -degree and he was without his top coat. Surprisingly, he did not even realize the cold at all because he kept the fire and desire to seek knowledge has been ignited within his head and heart. And from there, everything happened. It's a history of a very great person named Dr. Kumar Krishen. Boys and girls, let's welcome our honorable chief guest, Dr. Kumar Krishen, to deliver his address for this wonderful gathering. Please join us on stage, sir.
This is a joy for me to present this book because this book I wrote because India in 1965 January was kind of unknown to America, and they had a very different impression of our culture, and we do have a deep culture. So I present this. There are 14 stories. It's well acknowledged, and I present this as a gift to your school. I also take this opportunity to present the data that we collected in NASA for going back to moon, or at least kind of symbolic data, going back to moon, staying there for a little bit of time, and then having a mission to Mars. So we summarized in this sheet, and I made sure that your school gets 3 of these sheets. I want to also present to the school one of the most complex missions, human missions, was the space shuttle. Millions and millions of parts assembled together as subsystems, then super subsystems, and finally as systems, and then as a shuttle. We have had more than 100 missions, and these are all summarized here. So in the back it gives you the data about these missions. Again, I tell you honestly, students, this is the most complex machine ever flown. Very expensive. NASA spent 30 years, and finally we realized that we have achieved what we wanted to achieve with the shuttle, and so closed the chapter. Now I also have with me 3 patches, and my favorite person, Sunita Williams. This is her international space station mission, in which she stayed more than 6 months, and she had a record. It was broken later on, so I'm leaving this also. So now, you know, students, let me say this. There are other patches also I have here, and these are also for your school. Now, something that I want you to keep in mind. Whatever we have done in space, starting from Mercury and all those preliminary programs, all the way to Apollo 1 to 17, and then on out to Skylab and so many satellites, Apollo Soyuz, and then finally we came up with the International Space Station. Now we have missions to Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan, and not only US, but China is involved, India is involved, so many countries, ESA, European Space Agency is involved. Students, anything we do in space comes down to the earth. In your schools, in your hospitals, in your transportation, in your shipping, any sector of economy sees the benefits. We call them spin-offs. I spent many, many years in doing these spin-offs, and it is something for you to believe that we don't do space just because we do it. No, we do it because we want to have better lives here on the earth. So I leave with that, and I also leave little bit about me, but you have said a lot more than I need. So thank you very much. And now, do we have the I'll go with the presentation.
Yes.
I selected a topic. I have to take off this. My habit is I have to be very active when I am speaking. So Nikita, can you take care of this? So if you don't mind, I will walk for a second to see your faces because you are so, the boys, you are so handsome, and the girls are so beautiful. You remind me, you know, you did Bharatnatyam. My 3 children, Lovely, Sangeeta, and Angela, have graduated. They did Arangitram in America. Just give me a second. Let me walk to the end. That way, I will see their beautiful faces, and I will be happy, and I will be motivated. I will be inspired. Can you say that word? Inspired? You didn't eat breakfast? Can you say it loudly? That's what we'll talk about. We'll talk about inspiration. It sounds like perspiration. It also sounds like respiration, right? Perspiration, respiration, inspiration. Now, students, what do we mean when we say inspire? What do we mean? First, I want to clear this thing. I know your teachers know everything much more than I do. But inspire is something when you see somebody, you see something. It makes you to do something great. Okay? So, the people who inspire me generally do 3 things. How many things? 3 things. First, they believe in Satyam. What do they believe in? Satyam. I didn't hear it. Satyam. Ahimsa. And Vidya. These 3 things attract me, inspire me. Anybody I see doing these 3 things, helping humanity to bring hope, peace, and prosperity. Can you say those words? Hope. Say. One more time. Very good. Peace. Peace. And prosperity. That's what inspiration is all about. I want you to inspire your teachers so they can teach you better. They can be motivated. Like you motivated me. I went there and saw your faces. I thought, you know, I should get inspired, and I got inspired. Let's talk about So inspire, become a source of inspiration. Then be inspired. When you see a teacher, you see your mom, you see your dad, you see somebody believing in Satyam, Ahimsa, and Vidya, you should think very hard and be motivated. Right? We'll talk about these topics. I'll give you an examples of what and who inspired me. And finally, students, I know your teachers have a purposeful life. Their purpose in life is to impart Vidya on you, make you powerful with Vidya. So I know teachers already have a purpose. But children, you should also have a purpose in your life, whatever that purpose is. It doesn't matter. So now, what are some of the great things, what I call that contribute to hope, peace, and prosperity? Truthfulness, we already talked about it. Pursuit of knowledge, Vidya. Honesty, non-violence, Ahimsa. These are some of the things I have researched. I have not, given these. These are given in our ancient literature here. If you go back to ancient literature in Tamil Nadu, I don't care what state you go in India, you will find these listed in different ways, in different stories, in different avenues. Destruction of evil, that doesn't come very clear. But if you see somebody being an innocent person, a religious person, somebody that's not capable of defending themselves, and you see this person being beaten and something bad being done to him, you see somebody committing a theft, a murder, you should try your best to destroy such an evil act. That's what's given in Bharatvarsha, ancient literature. Then compassion, serving others. All of us should do something for others. If we can afford it, we should do it. And those people that we do things for should deserve it. It's not like we will do for everybody. No. They have to be deserving, they have to be honest, they have to be truthful, etc. Healthy and inspired living. Students, I tell you, without great health, you cannot achieve any of the above. You must have great physical health and great mental health. We don't place a lot of emphasis on mental health, but have to have. I learned these things at NASA. Because you send an astronaut in International Space Station. After a week, the muscles are not working, the bones are weak, etc. Why? Because there is no way to fight gravity. So we had to invent ways like treadmill, bungee jumps, etc. So I understood how important it is to have physical health. Then there is the mental health. Mental health is so critical because that is what distinguishes us from animals and all other creatures. Because we have been given a great brain by God or goddesses. Huh? So the brain has to work. So now, next one. I borrowed it from, that figure I borrowed from internet. That's what devils do. That's what Atangwadi, we call them in Hindi, or terrorists do. What do? Destroy the world. They have lust, you know. There's a lot of lust going on in the world where people who do not want to be touched or touched by force, etc. Anger. We have a lot of anger. You'll see angry people beating each other, spitting at each other, calling names. That is what a bad person does. And we can learn from that not to do those things. Lastly, greed. People have one car, they want another car. People have one house, they want another house. They can have a lot of houses. That's not a problem if it is done honestly and truthfully. But when it's done out of greed and literally taking away the wealth from somebody else, that's what we are talking here. Students, uneducated living, uneducated without knowledge living contributes to the worst life. So, first thing, if you want to inspire somebody, you must have knowledge. You must have knowledge, period. You must be wise, and that's the critical thing. Next one. So now, students, one critical thing is who do you want to associate with? Your teachers must have told you. A lot of your life and achievements depend on who you want to associate with. I might have a couple of examples of the people I associated with. So it says here, in Panchatantra, written in Kashmir where I was born 2300 years ago, the written Panchatantra came in Sanskrit. It said, it's better to live in hell with wise people rather than to live in heaven with people who are bad, right? Then, if you see George Washington, you know I'm from USA, right? So I had to understand the culture of America. It says, associate yourself with good people, quality people, because essentially never, you are better to be alone than in a bad company. It's better to be alone than in a bad. Can you repeat that? It's better to be alone than in a bad company. Now, this thing appeared in 1965, January. I show up at Kansas State University. I opened the magazine. I'm not joking you, within the first week. a full page with Abraham Lincoln. He was the president of America and somebody killed him. We'll not go through the history. But it says, towering genius disdains the beaten path. You cannot do all the time the same things, sweep the same way, do the same way the tasks. You must find a new way, a better way of living, of doing things, of helping others, of creating a better world. Next one. So now, Einstein, you must have heard of Einstein. He says, look, the mysterious is the greatest source of all science. So I tell all my life that always ask at least 3 questions. How is this happening? Let me repeat. How is this happening? Why is it happening? How can I find out what is happening? This will make you a great scientist, a great technologist, a great achiever. 3 things. How is this happening? Why is this happening? How can I find out what is happening? So people ask me, you know, that is what culture I had from the very beginning. Honestly. What's on the moon? How far is it? Where is it going? Why is it little one day and big one another day? All these then lead you to investigation, which leads you to become a great scientist. Next one. So now, you know, in Bharatvarsha, in this nation, we have been told everything there is Maya. What is? Maya. I didn't hear that. Maya. Which means different things in the West. But for us, it meant reality is different. So when I went to America, when I said, hey, all we see is not reality, it's Maya. They said, this fellow, they must have thought he has a problem, mental problem. So I had to sit down and write a paper. I'll send it to your teachers and faculty. So in the paper, I describe what we see may not be the same. Here is an example. This is an old one. Hubble telescope gives us a picture of something that happened 450 million years ago. Now we get these pictures from James Webb Space Telescope, okay? And they are like billions of years ago, something happened. Do you understand me? Is that the reality? The light gets emitted. It comes at a speed of 3 times 10 to the power 8 meters a second. We catch these. One of the most genius scientists in this area was Sir C.V. Raman. Raman spectroscopy, Raman theory of colors, etc. So you can imagine we have a great scientist that has given great contribution in terms of these photons and etc. But going back, we collect these photons and then we say the stars are here, this is here, and that is here, right? Now, the fact is that what is happening right now is way different than that has happened before. Now, when we see something, a scene, it is not the same. Now, when I told this at NASA, they said, what do you mean? You are looking at my face, and then you are saying it's not necessarily the same. Honestly, so I had to explain this way. Look, guys, yes, you have a light falling on your face, right? Now that light gets reflected from your face, and that comes to me. It didn't come in 0 time, did it? There is no such thing as 0 time. That light would travel from any face to my eyes in 0 time, right? Sometime. Could be 10 to the power minus 30, something. But what's more critical is now it comes to my eyes. Does the eye recognize the face? Nope. It goes where? In the brain. Starts neuroprocessing, right? Then I relate, oh, I have seen this face. That's my mom. I've seen this place. That's my dad, etc. You get the point. By the time I am done with the recognition, etc., and if I have Alzheimer's, which I am beginning to get a little bit, because with age comes lack of memory, then the processing gets even worse. Students, do you understand what I am saying? So by the time I get the information from your face, which could be the nearest object, by the time I process this information, recognize, do what I need to do with it, there's some time left. So by that time, you could have moved some atoms or molecules in your eye, who knows. Then there is this Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It says the more precisely one property is measured, the less precisely the other property is measured. Long time back, 7,000 years ago, when we said everything is Mahamaya, we didn't have Heisenberg's, and we didn't have the velocity of light. We didn't know things like this. Next one. Then my colleague, Dr. Tom Wilson, told me something. It has to do with sampling theorem, but we are not going there because that gets deeply involved in communication and all that. But what he said is, if you don't sample a picture many times, what will you see? You will see something that is going clockwise is going anti-clockwise because you didn't sample it enough times. In other words, reality is different. And how do we know that we're sampling enough times a galaxy? How do we know? That galaxy is not going much farther than our capability to sample the galaxy. You get the point. Then, my subject that I spent more than 30 years on. I will show you here, I don't know if I have that. A bridge is floating in the air. Sorry, a ship is floating in the air. Somebody took a picture. I'm not kidding you. And it's floating in the air. Things will appear. Nobody is lying. But that has to do with reflection, refraction, so on and so forth. So, perception is not necessarily reality unless you dig deep and get to the bottom, and maybe then it becomes reality. Next one. So here, I'm glad you are seeing this. This appeared in March of 5, 2021 in a magazine. Do you see how a ship is floating in the air? What you see is not reality. And we said it thousands of years ago in this land, right? Did people believe us? Slowly they are. I put it in black and white. Next one. So now, here is the thing. What we see is a little bit. This is like an iceberg. What we don't see is a lot. So our knowledge, students, do you understand? Our knowledge is very little. Honestly, you can jump up and down, but our knowledge is so little. But you young ones can do the following. You can bring this level down. In other words, you can expose more knowledge. That is the challenge I'm giving you today. July 23rd, in AADHAV Public School, I am giving a challenge. What am I giving? Challenge. One more time. Challenge. For the students to expose more knowledge. Get bottom. You know, here is an example of a black hole or some such thing in space. What is it? Where is it? How is it? That might give us some clues. But more importantly, the kind of things that are happening here on the earth. Tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, typhoons, you name it. and it's happening here. Why is it how is it happening? Why is it happening? How can I find what is happening? So there are a lot of things. You go outside, you will see something very strange happening, right? Let me give you an example. A bee, a honey bee, especially for teachers, please repeat this in your classes so they know. A honey bee can go 5 to 7 kilometers away from the hive, right? And come back and taking a zigzag path all over the place. And after quite a few minutes, when it sees a flower that it picks something from, honey from, sweetness from, then the honeybee comes back to the same point. Students, make me a honeybee. You know, you talk about robots are doing this, they are doing that, they are doing that, right? Show me your intelligence by making a honeybee in the lab. And the honeybee goes 7 kilometers, ziggity-zaggity, and comes back. Do you understand why I am saying we don't know much, we know very little? Birds. I was asking my own daughters, you know. Many times I ask my own daughter some questions. Birds run away. They go much further. Some of them go thousands of kilometers. And they will come back in the winter time to the resting place. How is this happening? Why is this happening? How can I find out what's happening? Next one. So, look, I wish I could jump over to talk to you, but that's okay. Are you able to see me? Yes, sir. I don't hear. Yes, very good. I am hard of hearing sometimes. Sometimes. But anyway, look. There, you know, you want joy. Everybody wants joy. Everyone wants happiness. This comes from Panchtantra. Everybody wants, I want happiness, you want happiness. Everybody wants happiness. We call it sometimes joy, J-O-Y, right? But in Panchtantra we have been told, guys, joy is not like a toy. It's not like a balloon. You will go in a shop and buy it. No. How do you get it? Humans must strain to body's pain. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? I am straining to body's pain in order to communicate what I want to tell you. So you can go back, tell your mom and dad, brothers and sisters. We had a person from NASA, Dr. Kumar Krishen. He was, if you want joy, you must be willing to perspire and work hard. Period. There is no substitute for that. When I go to gym, what am I doing? Essentially paining my body. Lift like a, you know, fool. I'm lifting this 30 kilograms here, 30 kilograms, straining my body to get the pain. Ultimately, my muscles are strong, my bone is strong, right? That is what we have. Now, here, no other than Thomas Edison, you know, one of the greatest scientists. He was so great until Einstein came, in my opinion. I think Einstein kind of shadowed him down. Edison was really genius is 1% inspiration and 99% hard work. You must work hard. Period. Are you willing to work hard? Yes, let's shout. Yes, now we are talking. Here, Albert Einstein, invention is 1% inspiration and 99, all of them are focused on 99% hard work. Now what do I tell you? What do I tell you? Are you ready? Next slide. I am not going to go that far. My quote is this. You can laugh all you want. Great achievements require about 50%. I'm not saying 99%. I'm sorry. I'm saying about 50% inspiration and the remaining 50% perspiration. Next one. By the way, one NASA person pointed out this to me. He said, evil doers also have a purpose. Atangwadi, the people who cause grief in Tamil Nadu also have a purpose, right? They want to cause up grief. They want to steal your money. They want to use a knife. They want to kill you. They have a purpose. But I call that an empty hole. There is nothing about it that can be appreciated. It has to be depreciated. It has to be eliminated, etc. Next one. Now examples. Remember I told you I'll give you some examples of what inspired me. This is Powder Singh. He is still living in London. Probably close to 100 years. And he started running. He lost his wife, then went to London at the age of something like 60 to 65. And in that period of time, see how great you all are. See how great. I get water, I get coffee, I get anything. And that's when you work hard, you will get the reward. I'll have to keep going. So now, here is the thing. He started, his son bought him a treadmill, so he started to run on the treadmill, and he ran so many marathons. He has record after record. That inspires me. When you do something at that age, admirable, you are creating a personality that other people want to imitate. Physically, look how lean and thin, how dedicated he is. Next one. And this is my friend Sunita Williams. And Sunita, can I tell them a joke? Can I tell you a joke? Yes, so Sunita Williams and I ran 5K, 5 kilometers. And she is ahead of me by 1 kilometer. That's not because of anything. You know, it's just because she is physically capable of doing it, right? I tried my best, but I was 1 kilometer away in 5 kilometers. So finally when I saw her and we were together, somebody took the picture. I said, Sunita, next time I'm going to beat you. What did I say? I didn't hear it. She took my right hand, I'm not joking you, and put it on her thigh like this, in presence of everybody. Said, okay, Kumar, now feel it. I said, it's all muscle. She said, next time I'll be ahead of you way more than 1 kilometer. That is the kind of person they are. They sit on the rocket at Kennedy Space Center. We don't know whether the rocket will go up or not. In Challenger, we lost so many people just because the rocket wouldn't go to the low Earth orbit. So that is the kind of astronauts are. People, they inspire you because they can take risks with knowledge. She's a pilot. She has learned from A to Z the things she needs to have for being a great astronaut, right? She has the vidya, she has satyam, you know, she will, I tell you, if you, I told you, you know, she took my hand and said, look, my muscles are far superior. That was truth. Next one. something great. I'm not joking. You didn't have to even talk to her. The moment you saw her face, it would hit you like an atom bomb. Kaboom! And it did to me. I sat down, I was trying to understand, Kalpana, how did you do this? How did you do that? So that's the kind of people they are. Of course, she ended up, in Colombia, you know what happened. But her legacy stands. She is in our heart, she is in our brain. She will always be known for being a great person, an inspiring person. Next one. So what is purposeful life? Again, I am not Einstein, I am not Edison, I am just Kumar Krishen. I give you my definition of what is a purposeful life. Are you ready? Yes, are you ready?
Yes,
purpose in life identifies the path. If I had to come to AADHAV public school, now I found a path through SSERD. And no other than Nikita Shetty found a way for me to come here. I wouldn't be here. So there was a purpose. She knew my purpose, that I want to communicate with young minds. I want to motivate young minds. And she found a way to get me here. That's what I was expressing here. Purpose in life identifies the path. There's a path. You will find a path if there is a purpose. If you want to get a degree in science, become a doctorate, become a physician, become an agriculture person, doesn't matter what, manager, anything, you can find a path. That path then leads to success and satisfaction. My children always ask me, Dad, you seem to be going like you are a yesterday's child. 54 years, 55 years I have already served. I'm still serving through the Indian Air Force and many other people. SSERD, said, okay, we want to take you to 2-3 schools and this and that. So the bottom line is satisfaction. It makes me feel successful, satisfied. Can you repeat that? It makes me feel successful and satisfied. What? Hard work, right? Working hard, doing research, finding out answers to problems. That's what we are all about. Right? Yes, sir. One more time. Yes, sir. We are here to find answers to complicated things, things that have not been answered. That's our challenge at AADHAV Public School. And we're going to take this challenge and run our lives, learn a lot in the school, and then we're going to do research. We're going to find you the answers that you are looking for. Right? Yes, sir. So now I come from this place called Kashmir. Why do I tell you about this? A little bit about myself, okay? You already know. Next one. Man, this is Dal Lake. I used to see these scenes. I haven't gone there for years now, maybe 50 years or more. Next one. This is Nishad Garden. Next one. This is Shalimar Garden. Next one. This used to be my favorite spot. I would sit here and see these fountains. Students, why am I telling you this? Sometimes watch flowers, watch birds, watch natural scenes, watch ocean, watch water, watch a river. You will get motivated. You will get inspired because nature inspires you. Nature has that soothing effect on you, just like your mom. I'm not sure about Dad. Sorry, Dad. Dads can be hard, right? My dad was very hard, okay? I would go to my mom and say, Mom, who is living on the moon? I would get instantly answer. You know what she would say? That's Bhagwanji. Brahma lives there. Great. Okay, he has a pond. In the pond there is boiling milk. What is boiling? And then she would say, in that milk there are cashews, there are almonds, there is coconut. By that time, my mouth is already wet, almost coming out, right? And then there is honey. All these things are boiling. And then she would finish by saying, if you take a sip, you will achieve nirvana, samadhi. That means you will get closer to God. So what do you think I was thinking? Go to moon, do this, you are next to God, right? Now we know on the moon there are nothing but craters, there is nothing but moon dust, etc., etc. Then I would go to my dad, who was highly educated at that time. He had a matriculation from Norman High School in Kashmir. Very few people had that kind of qualification. So I would say, Dad, what's on the moon? He would say this. Listen to me. Son, I don't know. See the contrast? See the contrast. Mothers can be soft, but he would say, I don't know. Period. And don't you bother me again with that question. Next one. So now, do you want to be satisfied? I don't hear the answer. Do you want to be satisfied?
Yes,
do you want to be happy?
sir.
Do you want to have joy?
Yes, sir.
Here is my way of expressing you what you need to do. You need to control your wants. And you need to focus on your needs. What gets us ultimately unhappy is we have unlimited wants. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes we even ignore needs. We should be eating good food. We should be putting on good clothes. We should have good transportation. We should be in cool environment. That's how we can do research. You know, we cannot do research on a footpath in 46 degrees temperature, right? Those are needs. We should have a laboratory. We should have equipment. We should have the support of our parents. We should have the support of our teachers, support of our school, etc. That's a need. So now, the key to life is controlling wants and focusing on needs. My need happens to be vidya. I want, that's like food to me. I don't know about you, but vidya is almost like food to me. It provides me a great satisfaction. It fills up a hole in my, what do you call, tapestry. Next one. So, knowledge is the key. Now, this can be expressed in many ways. Knowledge is something that nobody can take away from you. They can cut your hair, they can take your clothes, they can take your car, they can take your house, they can take your wealth. One way or the other, they can cheat you out of everything. But vidya is your permanent property. Vidya, knowledge, is your greatest asset. Nobody can steal it from you. So the pen is mightier than the sword. My dad used to remind it so many times. I never heard so many times he would say, pen is stronger than sword. Sounds very strange, doesn't it? With the sword these days people are killing so many people. With the pen, no. By the way, somebody stuck a pen in me when I was taking an exam because everybody wanted to leave. It was a physics exam and we were about 200-300 students in Kashmir University and it was very tough. So the bag, he did like this with the needle. And then the invigilator luckily saw, and he was standing until I finished. When I came out, ta-da! This guy gave me a big slap. And I had luckily my older brother there, and he defended me. So, pen can be also dangerous, but again, pen is mightier than sword. Next one. Knowledge. My quote. For a few people, knowledge may not be necessary. Believe me. Because they have the wealth. They have the influence, right? They might know the Prime Minister of India, Honorable Modi. They might know this. They might know that. Those are very few examples. You know, in India, if I have to say how many, probably 1 lakh, maybe 2 lakhs, maybe 5 lakhs, but then there are 1.4 crore people in India. For the rest of us, it is the what we know, not who we know. Next one. So knowledge. Knowledge is not necessarily only from books. Here is Lala Ishwari. We call her Lala Dead in Kashmiri. She said, look, I went everywhere. I wanted to get knowledge. I want to get Vidya. Finally, I found everything within me. Next one. So, for the lost and dead and the past, the voids have no limits. People who have not succeeded, have failures, have lost something, they concentrate on that past. Right? They brood on that. Oh, last year I didn't do good in my class. The teacher was upset with me yesterday. Well, that's yesterday. That's last year. How about thinking of future? That's the message here. The wise people concentrate on future, and your future is in your hands, students. You don't know. I tell you, can I give them an example? A boy at the age of 5 comes to me with his dad. Dad says, this boy is going to be a failure. The boy is only about 5-6 years old, okay? 5-6 years old boy is coming to me, sitting next to dad. Dad says, this boy is going to be a complete failure. Why? He had already failed 2 times. In 2nd class and then in 3rd class. So he was a perfect example of failure and second failure, right? I looked at him, I looked a bright kid like you, all of you. Seriously, sincerely, I mean it from the heart. I looked at this kid and something ticked in my brain. I looked at the dad and I said, he is intelligent, he will do something great. And this boy is intelligent. He got so many accolades. He is going to be finishing his bachelor's in hotel management very soon, maybe in the next 6 months. He's right now training in a 7-star hotel in Hyderabad. Imagine, his dad was convinced that his son is going to be a mighty failure. Okay? So that's not the case. If you make up your mind, you will see how successful you will be. Next one. So here is Mother Teresa. Love is such an important thing. I was telling earlier, I was telling Nikita Shetty, the CEO of AADHAV, I said I give a talk on love because love as perceived in our nation called Bharatvarsha is way different than the Western cultures, right? Love is a different commodity. And to some extent, Mother Teresa resonated with us. She said we can do no great things, only small things with great love. When there is love involved, like your mom, like your dad, brother, sister, teacher, anybody, that becomes a great thing. Next one. So, can I tell them a little story? I am in this form. I know if you have to go to toilet, go ahead. You know, if you need to go, go quietly. But I am in this forum, sir, and they thought I was an alien because somehow I looked different, right? So I had my pant on, and these are ladies who were in saris, torn saris and all that. And men had, you know, torn clothes and all that. And pretty soon I saw almost like 10 people to 15 people around me, thinking who this guy is, where did he come from? He looks different than us. So I couldn't think anything. Students, I could think one thing. I wanted to understand what their need is. N-E-E-D, need. In Hindi we will say, ye kya chahte hain? Huh? What do they need? So I thought in my mind, really, that when I tell them this, that what is the most precious thing on the earth. Now if you tell a NASA guy, they will tell you moon rock. If you ask my 3 daughters, they will tell you, Dad, give us a big diamond. Give us a big diamond. One more time. Diamond. Yeah, it better be about 30, 40 carats, right? Yeah. But when I asked this crowd of 15 people in the forum, are you listening? Yes, are you listening? Yes, when I asked in the forum, one lady took the hand up and said, love, pyar. I was shocked because I thought she would say house, we don't have anything to eat, blah, 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 blah. That tells you something how important love is in our life. Love to give, love to receive. Next one. So, we consider him almost the father of the nation, right? So we must be the change we wish to see in the world. You know, most of the time people will tell you, get inspired, do this, do that. And then if they don't do themselves, how can you prove? My kids listen to me because I'm showing them. Even at this age, I'm toiling, I'm perspiring, I am giving my best to whatever cause there is. By the way, I'm supporting about 50, 60 students, have been for last 30 to 35 years, who are not able to, you know, go for education. We give books, we give clothes, etc. In other words, that is the point. The point is, you do it yourself, then your children or your students will follow the path. Next one. So now leadership. Leadership is very great, and you know, you are kids, but you may be thinking, oh, how can I be a leader? Yes, you can. You can be a leader of anybody, even if they are adults. You can be my leader. You can show me how to do things. You can show me the path. You can show me the way you are intelligently thinking, etc. That is leadership. Leadership is something where you do those 3 things. You do satyam, you do ahimsa, and you do vidya. You will become a leader, I guarantee you. You concentrate on your mental and physical health, you will be a great leader. Next one. So now, questions and answers. You know, I asked a lot of people questions, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 over a period of long time, like 30 years. I asked this question, you know, what impresses you? What do you know, when you see somebody, and what leaps at you? What do you think is great things that come to you? And they said, knowledge, wisdom, humility. Humility is good because some people get so stuck up. They have that ego, you know. I am from IIT. I am a professor. I have done this. I have done that. I have so many houses. I have this. That is not humility. Humility is like where you are on the earth. You are not thinking that you are any greater than anybody else. So kindness, gentleness. My mom was so kind. Guys, I'm telling you, students, So kind to everyone. If somebody would come to our home and say, her name was Dhanvati. Dhanvati, there is nothing to eat in the evening. She wouldn't mind giving whatever we had for ourselves. Selflessness. Don't be selfish. And then integrity and hard work. Next one. So now, again, what inspires you? Truthfulness. We said that. Children, you inspire. If you see those of you who have baby kids, baby brother or sister, you will see, you will get a lot of inspiration for innovation. Innovation means finding new things can inspire you sometimes, right? Finding new things. And then humanitarianism, working to help others. Somebody doesn't have a leg. Helping that kind of person, helping a blind, helping somebody who doesn't have resources. That. And then positive attitude. The positive. Be positive. Can you repeat?
Be positive.
One more time.
Be positive.
I have that. Do you see any positive thing in what I am doing on the stage? Yes or no? Yes? I had to answer myself. But you see some positive, right, ma'am? Okay, something positive. Be positive. And then, ordinary people doing extraordinary things, like the selected president of India just got elected. Murmu, is that the correct pronunciation? Look, how humble beginnings and ended up to be on top of the most populous nation on earth. You can do it. Can you repeat? I can do it. Can you repeat? I can do it. Very good. Next one. So now, we are a very old human people in this country. Long time back, somebody said, people who were living here long time back constructed a bridge between what? Between the tip of India and Sri Lanka. We have been saying that to the Western world. Did anybody believe us? Honestly, no. I used to say, hey, there was a bridge constructed way back, thousands of years back. Nobody would believe. Until NASA, a few years back, came out and said, yes, there is something between the end of India and Sri Lanka. They saw it underneath the water, and of course it has sediments on top, but because of remote sensing, they could see this path. In a second, I will tell you why I say made this a particular chart for you. So then they said it's 17.5 lakh years back it happened. 17.5 lakh years. There were people living in India who constructed a bridge. Now, the bridge is not necessarily all the time over the water. Hello. What I told NASA is that the water level at that time must have been pretty low. Maybe half a meter. Could be up to a meter or so. Way down. So once the human being, at that time we are told historically half human, half not human, right? But once they started throwing the stones, there became a path. That is the bridge we are talking, 17.5 lakh years back. Why did I tell you this? Look at the innovation. Two countries were joined here in Bharatvarsha 17.5 lakh years before. Look at the intelligence of the people. We are extremely intelligent people in this nation. Extremely. If this doesn't convince you, I don't know what else. How could they think that they could construct a path? They did. Next one. So I say, within you resides everything. You are it. You can make it. You can go much higher. Next one. I worked very hard at Johnson Space Center. There is a thing called Wordle. Can you say Wordle? One more time. It spells W-O-R-D, word, and then L-E, Wordle. Wordle is something, in this case, an intern. She studied at MIT. She's extremely intelligent, Kayla Esquivel. She made a Wordle. Wordle means when you hear somebody's name spoken, she did it over a period of 2-3 years. She was at NASA, Johnson Space Center. She heard these words. What were the words? People, music, space, new. All these things came to her. Children, attempt, etc. Guess what she found most often people were talking about? Can you repeat this word? K-U-M-A-R. What does it say? Can you believe it? Who am I? I'm coming from India. I am in NASA. Huh? But how did it happen? Perspiration. I worked so hard. I worked intelligently. I dedicated myself to truth, ahimsa, and vidya. I dedicated myself to that. And my children also did. They're all doctorates. And my wife also did, except when she got admission for doctorate, she said, I think I had enough. I have 3 qualifications. That's good enough. She has a master's. So, any questions? Now I am open to questions. So you see, you can get recognition. I was shocked, when she came out. Now you can imagine what NASA must have thought. Hey, this guy is from India. Kumar is the only name I see here, right? Rest of the words spoken here are very different. How did it happen? Questions? Otherwise, I am finished, I am done. Teachers, you can ask questions.
Sir, how to make the world, sir? World, how to make Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Sun? How to make?
How to make?
Yes, sir.
How are they formed? How are they formed? It's a long process. But the process that we know is not perfect. It's not quite. The answer is, quite frankly, we know a little bit, we don't know a whole lot. What they're telling us, if we, believe, there was a big bang, there was something, and there were what they call gases like helium, hydrogen, etc. Then there were chemical actions that took place, chemical reactions all the time, and those chemical reactions started to get together, and there came what we call other elements. There are a whole bunch of elements, and those elements became then compounds. Once they became compounds, things started to form like rocks and things like that, solid material. Now you accelerate that for another few billion years, like 10, 15 billion years, a bigger body started to form, right? And you are seeing that formation today. You are seeing moon, you are seeing Mars, you are seeing Earth. So it's a process of combination of things. And for whatever reason, nothing is sitting idle. We still are changing. The Earth is a changing planet, and everything is moving, rotating, translating, you name it. It's doing what we call in this Bharat Varsha, Bharat Natyam. by Shiva. You know, there's a dance going on in these planets. And a lot of times they're colliding with each other in Milky Way, in Andromeda. By the way, in about 2.5 billion years or so, the sun will expand, it will lose its energy, etc. There will be no Earth, there will be no survival of any sort. So, everything is changing. And aren't we lucky? I tell myself, honestly, whether your teachers will believe me or not, that we are probably at the best time on this earth. It's going to be worse after this. Take my word. You are already seeing things are going to get hot, are going to get very cold, resources are going to shrink, population is going to expand like crazy. In the next 100 to 200 years, I predict we may have as many as 20 billion, maybe even 30 billion people. So it's going to be very crowded. Shouldn't we enjoy, be joyful that we have plenty, we have a beautiful school. AADHAV school, you know, beautiful school. I love it. I love to see the children here motivated, fired up, learning. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Sir, you went for space? You went for space?
Did I travel to space?
Yes.
Mentally. And that's why I joined NASA. I wanted to be in space all the time, and I am. Mentally, I think about black holes, I think about galaxies, I think about how stars are formed, I think about what's at the edge of the universe. I write papers. I'll send you a paper on understanding the universe, you know. So I write these papers. But the bottom line is, physically, no. Mentally, all the time. I'm in the orbit. I'm sometimes on the moon because I have to visualize what will moon dust do to us, right? How will we use moon's resources for growing things or Mars? So I am there mentally, but not physically. Next question.
Sir, what is your first day experience in NASA?
First day experience at NASA was incredibly great because I'll tell you why. I was at Kansas State University, right? I will say it this way. The first day at NASA means at that time I was with Lockheed, but I was in the NASA building, right? Here's what happened. Listen carefully. I'm at Kansas State University. First I was doing my experiments on the roof. These are radar beams that I was reflecting. I didn't want anything to be reflected from other tall buildings. So I went on the Seton Hall, the tallest building, and I was doing these. So somebody said, you are going to be an icicle one of these days. It's very cold in Kansas. So they gave me a big room like this, and I'm doing these experiments. But I realized that the kind of experiments I was doing require a large distance. We call it far field effect. We don't have, you know, you don't have the background for explaining that. But the waves have to become plane before they get reflected. That's why we put these in planes, radars, planes to watch the Earth, and we put them in satellites. Right now, there is a C-band radar that ISRO has put in a satellite called C-band satellite. So anyway, going back, my first day was so accelerating because I was told, Kumar, we have 4 planes. You can have any experiments. So planes go what? 30, 40 feet. I used to tell them how 30,000, 40,000 feet, these pilots will go. Can I tell you a joke? No, seriously, if you want me to, I will. Can I tell you a joke? Yes, so these pilots were getting tired of me because I would tell them fly at 10,000 feet, then go at 15,000 feet, fly this way, fly that way, then go at 30,000 feet. Because I had to cover this area in different directions at different altitudes to see the effects on the reflectivity. and to know how to measure soil moisture or crop type. So I was changing these parameters, right? So the pilot said, we got to teach this Kumar a lesson. They kept quiet. Everybody kept quiet. Okay? The person who was operating my system said, Kumar, can you come today? We want you to fly and see how we are collecting your data. What do you think? I thought, yeah, good idea, right? Let me go. So I go in there. First I go at 10,000 feet. Then I go at 20,000 feet. Everything I had eaten, so it all came out. Do you get it? So that experience I had, going back to what was your first experience, I was excited that now I can conduct experiments, and then ultimately I ended up getting chance to go on Skylab, which was a satellite, habitated satellite. It was the small space station at that time. So my excitement was so great that now I can do these experiments. I was kind of like confined to a room. Now I have the whole space. I can do from altitudes of 30,000, 40,000 feet, and also from 400 kilometers. I don't know if I answered that. That was my excitement first day, that I can achieve what theoretically I need to achieve. Theoretically, I wanted this wave. When you throw the wave, initially it's a spherical wave. Then as it gets larger and larger sphere, it becomes a planar wave. That's what I wanted. Any other questions? I don't know, maybe your teachers will explain you what. Yes.
Who is your inspiration, sir? Inspiration. Your inspired person.
My inspiration? Okay, yes. I will say, really, it's not one person, it is astronauts, and it's especially Nobel laureates like Bob Curl, Rick Smalley at Rice University, S.S. Ting, and several others that I came across during my tenure at NASA. So Vidya attracts me, inspires me. And these people who have such a huge Vidya, that attracts me. And something attracts me about astronauts is their willingness to sacrifice their life to give you knowledge, to give you Vidya. Because without their efforts, they go, they find out, then we bring back, as I said, that spin-offs. Whatever we learn, if we can keep a person alive in space station, we certainly can keep them alive on the Earth. If we can keep a person alive on the moon or Mars, believe me, we can keep them alive any place on this globe. That inspires me about astronauts, and that inspires me about people who are deep in Vidya. They don't have to have Nobel Prize. I met people at Calcutta University, people like Jitendra Nath Bahar, Dr. S.N. Bose. After him, bosons are named, right? S.N. Bose was living when I was there. I used to go to his office because I was luckily the first Kashmiri Pandit on that campus. So he said, you can come anytime. So these kind of people, Sir Jagdish Chandra Bose, Sir C.V. Raman, these kind of people inspire me. Next question.
Sir, I'm Jeevadashni from the Chola International School. Did you see aliens in space?
Aliens, I didn't see aliens in space, but I saw one alien at AADHAV public school. And the alien has a hat on. How do you like that? The alien has a hat on. Seriously, forget that. throw that in the, what do you call it, trash bin. There are no aliens. Nobody has seen one. There are illusions. Remember I told you what you see is not necessarily what is real. A ship is floating in the air. Similarly, some people have seen things and then they say, there was a booth, there was a ghost, there was an alien. Can I tell them a joke? There was this one person. He was walking and suddenly he is seeing the shadow. But he didn't relate. Maybe he had some mental problem or something. He thought that alien was his shadow on the wall. He got scared. You follow what I'm saying? So, there are no aliens. Sorry, I haven't seen one. I think all of us are aliens, you know. One way or the other, if you relate from that standpoint, how did life come about on this earth? There must have been some connection from somewhere else, or there must have been some chemical reactions that resulted in DNA, RNA, then chromosome, then cell, etc., 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 etc. But aliens, no. Next question.
I am Rayan from the Chola International School. What is your first achievement?
My first achievement is no achievement at all. But I think I was lucky that I found out what the material on the moon is, looking from Earth, right? I didn't look from Earth. There were two scientists from Goldstone facility. Your teachers might explain you later after this. At Goldstone, we have a 75-meter dish. We have X-band radars. They were reflecting at that time in early 60s. They were getting reflected signals from the moon. But I was asked, as part of my master's thesis, to find out what the material on the moon is remotely. So I did a systematic study. I can send you the papers. But I did a systematic study with different materials and got these reflections back. And then we call it extrapolated. Then I said, okay, this data, the real data, what does that real data tell as far as my data is concerned? I took with different materials. So that gave me a way to predict the material on the moon. I thought I was very happy about that.
Sir, I am Dehashni from the Chola International School. My question is, if any bacteria can live in space?
Bacteria can live in space, but you have to have living conditions for bacteria. So it's like, you know, we can grow crops, we can make humans to live in space, but we have to create what we call habitats. So without that, you know, if you take moon, there is no air, there is no water, these essentials, there is no food growing there. So the essentials have to be provided in order that a bacteria can survive. Bacteria is a living organism, by the way. The job I had at NASA, listen, I had to know everything from biology to the rocket science. Seriously, because that's the position it was. It was called Senior Scientist for Technology Investigation. So you have to know just about everything. And why do you think that came about? Let me tell you why it came about. I must have reviewed more than 12,000 papers, books, copies, presentations, patent applications, because that was my 25% of my job, was to see what is being published at Johnson Space Center. Why? My job was to identify if there is an innovation. If there is an innovation, then NASA can have a patent, right? So that was the idea. So this didn't come without that. So I got involved in many, many different things. But going back to your question about bacteria, I give presentations on biology. I don't have a degree in biology because I learned a lot about biological sciences, because we have humans in space, we put bacteria in space, we put rats, mice in space, we even put spiders in space. What didn't we do? We grew crops in space. So bottom line is, we have to create habitats, we have to create living environment so that things can grow, any biological system can grow.
Sir, I'm Ananya from RSK International School. My question is, how did you inspired about NASA, and what have you learnt in NASA?
Okay, I think NASA has a great name, and I didn't necessarily resonate with that. When I was told by NASA, you have to join here, honestly, I was doing very good with Lockheed. I had a staff scientist, staff engineer position, which was the highest I could achieve in Lockheed. Doing great, came to India. Lockheed sent me to India to see if India wants to buy some, fighter planes and all that. I went to Iran, I went to Germany, I went to several places on behalf of Lockheed. But going back, NASA has a great name because NASA makes impossible possible. You know, going to moon was not a small achievement. It was a great achievement at a time when technology was so embryonic. You know, we didn't have that much technology for the rockets all the way to habitats. It was extremely costly. It was extremely risky. And you are seeing Apollo 1, you don't know, probably, maybe some of you know, in Apollo 1, we lost 3 astronauts right on the ground at Kennedy Space Center. Why? We were testing to see what level of atmosphere is needed, what kind of level of oxygen can we retain. So we closed the window, we had 3 astronauts sitting right in that moon capsule, right? And suddenly there was a spark. And there is a lot of investigation about why that spark. And it killed the whole amount of oxygen in a matter of few seconds. And they didn't even get the chance to open the latch. You know, we're on the ground. So it's extremely risky. Going back to your question, inspiring. These kind of things inspire me. NASA takes up the challenge. Like, we want to explore sun. So NASA put satellites as close to the sun as possible, on the other side of the sun. We want to find the most accurate temperature of the universe. Students, when I was at Calcutta University, we used to think deep space is 4 degrees Kelvin. 4 degrees Kelvin. NASA found out 2.79 something, up to 10 decimal places accurate temperature of the area, the volume that could be seen, right? That's a great achievement to me. It has to do with how you develop the cosmological models of the universe and things like that. So going back to inspiring, you get inspired when people take challenge. People take a challenge and then show that they can do something. They may fail, but their hard work is a measure of success. So your teachers have taken the challenge. I know they have taken the challenge to make sure that you grow up with adequate knowledge, right? That's a challenge. So now you have to come forth and show them that you are worthy of their effort, that you are going to study at home, you are going to study at school, and you are going to put your effort in it. Sir, I think we should They may be tired, na? Children are tired. Huh? Okay, 3 more questions because I don't want you to stop going to restroom, etc. Right? I mean, there are biological needs and so on. Okay, 3 questions.
Hi sir, I'm Vijay Brinda from RSK International School. So my question is, Neil Armstrong has steps to the moon, but why not inside? Anyone?
Inside the...
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Why not we try to go to inside the earth?
Yes, sir.
What a great question. We are trying, I don't know any humans that want to go inside the earth because it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and we don't even know how hot it is down there. Some people think it is like, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands degrees centigrade, and some of that shows up in what? The, what do we call these that come up? Volcanoes. Yes, some of that shows up in the volcanoes. So going down is not a smart thing. But the other reason for going down is not a smart thing is what do we gain? What do we gain? We can send now, we have good systems that can go down and measure temperature, measure other variables of the soil or whatever is around us. So I think the reason why Neil Armstrong went to moon is because John F. Kennedy, the President of America, went to Rice University. By the way, I was adjunct professor at Rice. I had to resign because of conflict of interest. Went to Rice University like this, stood there, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, "We will go to the moon in the next 10 years." So first thing we have to do is scrounge through and find the astronauts, train them, and it's a big job. Who deserves to be an astronaut is how well they are physically and mentally, and what vidya they have, what training they have. It's not a simple thing. So we did that. So it's a very strange answer, but I would say Neil Armstrong got the job. He was inspired and he went to the moon, period.
Hi sir, my name is Vijay Darshini. I am from Madhav Public School. My question is, how is the Milky Way galaxy formed?
How is what? All the galaxies that you see are, I call it, you know, some people say it's a chance theory or chaotic theory. There are so many theories. But the simple thing is that unless things, what happens in this case? That we have different bodies. And there is a gravitational field and there is a kinetic energy field. So let's give an example of the Earth. Earth is going around the sun, right? It's also going around itself. And then it's wobbling also. It's doing all kinds of different things. And initially, we don't know. Honestly, we don't know. Let's not start. It's like my dad. I don't know who is living on the moon. When I used to ask him as a child, I don't know. Son, I don't know. So we really don't know how the initial velocities came out. We think this Big Bang gave a lateral velocity, also it gave a rotational velocity, right? And then that rotational velocity and lateral velocity along with the gravitational field is what makes a galaxy. So in the galaxy, each star or body has a certain velocity, goes in a certain direction, has some attraction from different planets. That's how the Earth is, right? It's balanced in gravitational field with whatever is around it, moon, maybe some influence from Mars, of course from sun. So we are going round and round. So going back to Milky Way, it's very hard to go back and tell you exactly what happened because we don't know. But all we know is up to this time, everybody seems to agree that there was a Big Bang. Due to that Big Bang, there was velocities created. lateral motion, circular motion, wobble, everything was created, and therefore things are going in that direction. Honestly, I would say we really don't know. That's the point I was making. We don't know a lot of things about Antariksh, this universe, a lot of things. And what little we know, I think is almost exaggerated. And unfortunately, I think that's not a good thing. You should think, students, I am telling you, you should think that we do not know much. And you should go from that angle and start clearing your mind and saying, hey, we don't have an answer of how the Milky Way was formed, right? Let's start with that. And then you explore. Maybe after 25 years, you might have a new theory like Chandrasekhar, right? Chandrasekhar gave us the black hole theory. Sir C.V. Raman gave us the Raman spectroscopy. All these things happen because at early age, they must have been thinking about these things. Question number 2.
Hi sir, I am Madina Chitra from grade 8 AADHAV Public School. My question is, what is the use of researching planets and finding out different stars?
The use is a couple of things. First of all, from my perspective, to investigate what is happening there, we need to make systems. Those very systems, that very technology is so useful to us. So, the point is this. You say, what is the use of exploring other planets and stars and this? I tell you this, you have no choice. You may think humans have choice. No. It is in our DNA. We are born with curiosity. I looked at the moon. I was so fascinated with stars. I was in Kashmir. I was a little boy. I was looking up. Wow. What is this? Why is this there? So, step 1, admit and accept that whether we like or not like, we are going to explore, explore, explore. Repeat 3 times. Explore, explore, explore. 3 times. Because we are humans. That's the bottom line. Now, having said that, it's nice to know what is happening on the moon. It's great to know what's happening on Mars because they are quote unquote so close to us. It's nice to know what's happening on the sun because sun is the source of our life, L-I-F-E. And moon is not trivial. It has such a substantial effect on our living. So we explore for the benefit of our knowledge. But earlier I said, whether we like it or not, you will see in the next 20 to 25 to 30 years, India spending huge amount of money, effort on exploration. Why? Because China is going to do it, America is going to, Russia is going to, Japan. These are the nations that will spend huge amount of money. So there is not much choice. I don't know how to answer that question, but again, I repeat. First, we don't have choice. We are humans, we are curious. We want to know, no. Second, whatever we do out there, in such a tough environment, we need to know how moon is affecting the earth, for example. For example, we need to be able to sit on the moon. For one reason, we will do it anyway, but to bring that knowledge back to the earth. Next question.
Hi sir, I am Amilda from AADHAV Public School. We know that in space there are more sun and stars, but why the space was always dark but not why it is bright?
Okay, very good question, excellent question. Why would that happen? Excellent question. Why is something looking dark? Why? When I put some light on something, still it could look dark, right? Why? Because there is no reflection back. See, the way I am able to see, by the way, a lot of credit goes to Sir C.V. Raman. Huh? The way I am able to see these balloons is because the light falls on it, then it eats up a lot of colors, quote unquote, according to, again, Sir C.V. Raman. But whatever it doesn't like, it reflects it back, and I'm able to see. Now, problem in space is, if there is nothing to reflect back, it could be there, it could be present, and two reasons are: one, we are not radiating on it directly; two, it's not reflecting back, right? Sometimes we call these kind of things dark matter, matter that we cannot even observe or see. Dark energy, energy that we cannot observe and see. So that question and all these questions, I want you to go home and think you never got an answer, and then start exploring on your own. Teachers, am I wrong? Any teacher? Am I right? Shouldn't they be thinking, I didn't get an answer, and then start exploring? That's what I did when my dad told me, I don't know. When my mom told me that, yes, yes. Bhagwan Ji is up there, right? So I started exploring. I went to NASA. I wanted to find out what's on the moon. Luckily, we know a lot about moon. So just think that you don't have the answers. That's good enough. And ask yourself, how is this happening? Why is this happening? How can I find an answer to what is happening? And what is happening is, everything looks dark sometimes, right? Right? Moon looks like a little bitty thing, then looks like a full moon. Why is it happening? It's wonderful to think about these things. Okay? But two things. Sometimes if we don't shine anything on something, well, there's nothing to look at, right? Or if we shine on something and it doesn't give us anything back, we are in trouble. Both ways.
Boys and girls, please give him a big round of applause. Now it's time to honor our chief guest. I request the dignitaries to come on stage. Students, keep asking yourself, how is this happening? Why is this happening? And how can I find an answer? That's a message for the students community. May I now request our beloved correspondent, Mr. K. Rajendran sir, to honor our wonderful chief guest, Dr. Kumar, Krishen, with a shawl and memento. Sir, your service to the society is enormous. We wish you a very success in all your efforts. Thank you, sir. May I now request our beloved chairperson, ma'am, Bhumapriya ma'am. Thank you. I now request our beloved chairperson, Miss Bhumapriya ma'am, to honor Miss Nikita with a shawl and memento. Nikita ma'am, co-founder of Gen X Plays. Her love for our students is unconditional. Thank you, Nikita ma'am. Thank you. May I now request our beloved academic director, Mr. S. Ravichandran sir, to honor Miss Aswati, PRO of Gen X Plays. I request Ms. Nikita ma'am to share a few words with this crowd. Students, kindly please be seated.
Good afternoon, students. I know it's lunchtime, and how many of you are hungry? I think everyone, right? I know. I'll not take much time. I just wanted to tell you all that everything that you heard today, right? Please try to start following it, right? Like how much he said about education, Vidya, right? Keep learning. That's something that I wanted to stress again here with all of you. Keep learning, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep finding the answers, okay? My mentors told me that, do what you love. But today, Kumar sir is again one of my mentor from the time I have met, I've already considered. And he says that you keep learning in order to achieve what you want. And I think all of you should do that. And probably in the future, you'll also become like Kumar sir, okay? And Kumar sir, this is for you. You spoke so much about Dr. C.V. Raman, and he was born in this very near, are all from this land, and you should take inspiration from him. You can see scientists like Dr. Kumar sir, who's working in NASA, are inspired by people like them. And you all must become someone like them. And you heard sir telling that there are so many problems we have, and you all need to solve them. I think that is very, very important. And keep learning, keep exploring, and we are here to help you solve any questions you have. Thank you very much, and I would like to thank the school management in order to help me in bringing sir to school and him interacting with the students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your views with us. One song can change a moment. One idea can change a world. Now, I welcome Ms. Jacinta from Montessori Department to deliver the vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon to one and all gathered here. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, I start by giving glory to Almighty God for making this session a success. First, I would like to thank our guest, Dr. Kumar Krishen, Dr. Kumar Krishen, fellow SDPS, fellow distinguished speaker, IETE, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. And I express my heartfelt thanks to Ms. Nikita, co-founder of Zenex Space, for sharing their knowledge about astrophysics and space science with us. We are grateful to corresponding sir and chairperson ma'am for the support to make this meeting useful to us. I thank our well-wisher academic director of AADHAV Public School for his support. Sincere thanks to principal for his stewardship support to make this meeting successful. I also thank the principal of RSK International and Chawla International for the warm support today. I owe a special gratitude to teaching and non-teaching staff who work behind the screen to showcase the event in a limelight. I thank all of you for your patience and support. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you. May now request you all to rise up and express our respect for the anthem of our great nation, India.
Jai
Students, please be seated. Students, please be seated in your seats.
Something else, girl. Give it to her. I'll give you something else. That's the first thing she gave me.